I wanted to share something with you. I find it so interesting how I no longer wake up in the world where, it's just easy and I jump out of bed and life is incredible and amazing. I no longer wake up to a world of beauty and peace, unless I create that world for myself. I'm seeing that if I'm on this autopilot mode, and if I just wake up and open my news feed, scroll, open up social media, or look at my text or emails, it's not necessarily a very happy world out there today. That's the reality. And if I just let it slide like that, I'm going to go down that spiral as well. I can see how automatically my mindset, my heart set, my environment is affected. So unless I make it for myself, it's not going to happen. So that's what I wanted to share with you. And that's what we are talking about in my mastermind this week, is how to create this optimal day, this optimal life for ourselves. And it doesn't happen by fluke. It's like we are capable of creating that environment for ourselves. So I wanted to share a few tips that I'm using personally that are helping me a lot in this crazy chaotic time. I find people are so sensitive. We're talking about resilience, and there's just a lot of fragility out there that we see, and being kind to each other is, it's what's needed. So just sending all the kindness and good vibes to everyone. But I'm seeing how people can get offended, and opinions are just being, this is the time that we're in, that people are expressing how they feel. They're expressing their wounds, they're expressing their needs, and it can come off as offensive to other people sometimes, because as we're learning to speak our truth, we're still like newborns in this sometimes, so speaking our truth sometimes can offend other people. And I find that's the case today. It's a lot of opinions are out there, and this is going to go on for months and months and months again. So things that I do, that I use, that help me really, really, really set up, a great day and make it a great week, is one thing is clearing out energy. Like number one is just as soon as I notice a yicky, sticky emotion in me, or in my business, or in my group, or with my client, it's like clear that out. Just command that I'm clearing that stuff out. Like I just saged my house again. I saged the outside. I saged my office. I saged my computers, my binders, everything. So clearing out that energy, because if we don't clear it out, it can shift form, and it can jump from like one person, one situation to the other. It can jump from like a work situation or a client situation, and it can jump into like, if I don't clear it out here, it doesn't pass through me, it stays in me, and then it finds another situation to be released. It can be released in my family and my daughter, and then I find like, she's all feisty walking around. So number one is I command for that energy to be released. And then I create something that's needed, that's inspiring. So number two is having a clear vision, and again, we've been talking about this for week 4. We're in week 4 in my mastermind now. And it's like, how important is it to have a clear vision? When we have a clear vision, we have clarity on where we're going, what are we aligned with, what is aligned with that vision, who is aligned with that vision, what kind of behavior do I want to cultivate within me, my environment again, the people I'm surrounded by, right? So having clarity on a vision. And I can't say this enough, this phrase of like how I work with women mostly, and I see this, 90% of the time is how women are like, I don't know what it is. Is it fear? It's probably like fear, conscious, unconscious, subconscious. They're afraid to take these bold decisions, and commanding on their vision, saying, this is what my life is going to look like. I want, I want to make this much. I want to have this much of an impact. This is how I want my romantic relationship to look like. This is how I want to show up for myself, my family, my kids. And, it's almost like women they tend to second guess themselves so much. So have you heard the saying that goes, not taking a decision is actually taking a decision? So, a lot of us just realizing that if we're not taking a decision on something, we are taking a decision. And if we are taking the decision of not taking a decision, then we are allowing the unconscious, subconscious, the unconscious to just dictate to us how life is going to go. Somebody's going to call, somebody's going to text and make demands on you. They're going to pull your attention into what's needed for them instead of your vision. So it's either we are clear on our vision or other people are going to pull us into their visions. So again, number 2 is having crystal clarity on your highest vision for yourself and non-negotiable, like really waking up and tuning into it every day, feeding it. What was the number 3? The number 3 was self-care. Self-care is a must today, and not just regular self-care, radical self-care, radical unapologetic self-care, because we are navigating so much emotions. There are waves coming at us multiple times a day. So if we don't have our cups full, if we're not emotionally taking care of ourselves, physically, if we're not taking care of our bodies, that stuff piles up as stress. And we don't realize it, but like with time, over time, it comes out as physical disease, something in our body, but it's usually a result of some mental stress that's been piling up for quite some time. So number 3 is radical self-care these days. What can you do for your body? Again, what can you do for yourself on all these levels? Physical, emotional, mind level or heart level, and material levels. Be comfortable, be safe, be well. So these are my 3 little tips for you all, and reminding myself how to make it an epic day, how to take care of ourselves today. Is we're no longer living in the same world as we used to. Let's admit it. It's a crazy wild west here. So unless we make it happen, it ain't gonna happen. So number 1, clearing the old energy out right now. Just clear. Breathe, jump, do some emotional release, ecstatic dance, whatever you need to do to get that energy out. I love walking bare feet. I walk bare feet all the time, especially on the earth. Grounding just like takes that stress and releases that into the earth. It's the best grounding source we have, especially if we're on computers and phones, and if we're wearing these rubbery shoes all the time, that tension actually piles up again in our bodies. I have a little really good recipe also for a little foot a bath for your feet, so you can also distress your feet with some essential oils, which is amazing. So number 1 is I forgot. Okay, I'm getting overwhelmed. All these beautiful people are popping on here. Hi, Jen. I think we just danced together, right? Is that it? We danced with Ildiko? Yes, so dancing is part of my self-care for my physical body. Hey, Olga. She's saying tuning into your vision every day. Yes. So number 1 is clearing the old energy out. As soon as we notice some yucky emotions, before we start projecting it onto other people who don't deserve that, is clear that stuff out. Get it out. Just let it go. I love that song. My daughter sings it. Let it go from Frozen. Let it go. That's like a mantra for today. Let it go. Number 2 is tune into that compelling vision for what you want to create. Because there's so much happening of what we don't want to have, what we don't want to see, what we don't want to believe in. The question is, what do you want to see? How do you want it to look like? Who do you want to be surrounded by? Right? How do you want to show up? Who are you becoming? So nurture that vision. It can be a vision board. It can be replaying that visualization in the morning. It can be like writing affirmations. I've been doing these notes to self, the little post-its to self, to snap me out of my gunk and funk, sometimes. So I have them literally around my computer. I have them on my mirror in my bathroom. So tuning into the best, highest vision for ourselves. And number 3 is radical self-care. What can you do for yourself on a physical, mental, emotional levels, financial levels, material levels? What can you do today to feel good? It can be connecting with amazing people. It can be dancing. We just had an amazing dance with Ildiko, right, this morning, which was great. I did some meditation, which really, really helps. Gratitude goes a long way today. A long way. Gratitude journal. So those were my 3 tips to share with you all, and I wanted to draw a little card for you from this Druid Animal Oracle deck for you all. Let's see what the spirit world, spirit animals has in store for us today. Where are we going in all this crazy world? The animals know, nature knows. Nature knows how to handle this chaos, and any transformation, any changes, lasting, sustainable changes, precede by chaos. And this is the prophecies, a lot of prophecies, the Egyptian prophecies, the Hindu prophecies of the Kali Yuga. We are in the era of destruction, the chaos. So if we welcome the chaos and we release, and we can actually birth something new. But the old must be deconstructed. Okay, let's tune into what is happening. So I pulled a salmon for today. Yes, salmon. Right? You see the name? Salmon. And it's beautiful. It's reaching for the egg. There's this beautiful egg that it's reaching for. It kind of looks like a fallopian tube and like an ovary almost. So it's reaching for the egg right from the water. And the salmon jumps up the stream, right? It's one of those fishes that actually jump up the stream. So I'm really curious what it says. All right. So salmon. Key words are wisdom, inspiration, and rejuvenation. The meaning is, it is revered as extremely sacred in the Druid tradition. It is the oldest animal, and it offers us wisdom and inspiration. Often, with great difficulty, the salmon will return to the place of its birth to mate. To find wisdom, we too need to recapitulate our lives, to journey in consciousness back to our beginnings, to our childhood, and perhaps beyond, to our very origins in God or Goddess. This is really interesting, guys. Salmon brings not only wisdom, but youthfulness and inspiration. But remember that to find these things, you must maintain an attitude of openness and innocence rather than strong-headed determination. Okay? That's the message from salmon to us all. I love that it says it brings us back. It's a journey of consciousness back to our beginnings, to our childhood, and perhaps beyond our very origins of God and Goddess. Pretty amazing. I think collectively we are really invited to go back to that original beginning of the essence, innocence of who we are before all these layers were put on us by school systems, the parents, whatever and whoever taught us, whatever. Even some teachers, even spiritual teachers. I'm catching myself removing all these veils of what we were taught. Even I was having this conversation yesterday with one of my sisters, and we were talking about Columbus discovering America. How can you discover something that, you know, there were native people living on this continent before? So it doesn't make sense. We're living in this amazing time where history does not make sense. And that's the medicine of recapitulation. If we can recapitulate, rewrite, review our lives, review our stories, review our childhoods, the messages that we were told, that we grew up with, and question them. You know, there's a beautiful practice. You can just write and put it out on paper and question. Is that true? Is that your truth? Does that serve you? Because right now we are in between the worlds. We're in that crack that allows us to question and to pause. It's like the great pause. What are we doing in this pause? Are we watching CNN, Netflix? But we also have an opportunity to look deeper within and re-examine those inner truths and outer truths. Like we're seeing that on the global scale as well, as above, so below. So on a micro levels, if we're doing our work, we're gonna also accelerate this work to be done on the macro levels, right? In our governments, we're seeing them all stripped down now. They're making less and less sense, right? They're making less and less sense. And sometimes, like, let's review our life too. Does this make sense to me? Because now we are becoming the conscious, the awakened ones. And we're rebuilding our lives. We're building the new earth now. So I want to leave you with that, beauties, okay? Some medicine from our fish, the salmon here, from the Druids, that is reminding us to reach from the water, swim up that stream, and quest your original truth. Go back to the source. Go back to your original state of innocence. When we were born as children, we all came in here innocent. And maybe that salmon is taking us back to that egg, the original egg what we were in, right? You still have that in you. So let's quest that. Let's unveil all that doesn't serve us. And remember to make it a great day. Make it a great life. Don't expect the world to do that for you today. I can't. I'm not waking up in that world any longer. So number one is clear all the sticky, icky energy that does not belong to you or does not belong to your future. Number two is get super clear on what you want to create, what kind of vision you are ready for. And wake up to it every morning. Nurture it. Before you go to bed, nurture it. Make that the visualization, the mantra. And number three is self-care. Radical self-care. All my love, guys. Make it an epic, epic day. Lots of love, y'all.